Let's do it.
Oh, Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
No, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.
It means nothing.
Does it mean anything?
Means nothing.
Zero? I mean, damn. What I did in the postseason because I'm a compiler doesn't mean a thing.
Don't mean a damn thing. You know what else? You know what else doesn't mean a damn thing? Oh, wait. No, wait. Do you know who reached out to me?
Who's that? Who's that?
The representatives of Flat Earth Dave. They want to have another chat. Can I bring?
No.
Can I bring Flat Earth Dave?
No. No, wait. Oh my God.
Trump is president, so I think you got to bring on Flat Earth Dave. No.
Oh my God. I'm listening to Dave, and I saw him. No, so I can't do Flat Earth Dave again. Oh my God.
How about if I bring him back? How about if I bring him back and we only talk about why the moon landing was fake?
Okay, here's what's gonna happen. I'm telling you this right now.
Because I don't know. He's got some good evidence that the moon landing was fake.
Because what's gonna happen is we're gonna go into the moon landing being fake, which you already believe anyway. That
100%. That's 100%.
Neil Armstrong staged the whole thing. Oh my God. I can't believe I'm getting sucked back into this with you guys. Oh no, Tone.
What?
Because I'm telling you what's gonna happen, Tone. Here's what's gonna happen.
Tell me.
We're gonna have this guy on, and you and him, and I'm a conspiracy theorist too, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be clear about that. I'm also a conspiracy theorist.
That's the funny part is that you pretend that you're not, but you are.
Oh, I'm 100% a conspiracy.
You're just not like me. You don't openly
express I'm not
it.
A nut like you, though, Tone. That's the difference. I don't believe Osama bin Laden is dead. I don't. I'm convinced that he's not dead. I don't think so. No, even though President Obama came on television and told us how they killed, still ain't seen him, so I don't believe it. No, I don't. But with that being said, we're going to talk about the moon landing, and we're going to go down this black hole in space, this endless black hole about the stars and the moon and gravity and all of that shit again. And I'm going to be lost. That's going to happen.
I'm just saying.
That's going to happen. Oh my God. Flat Earth Day.
We had a guy who literally wrote the book on Tupac, tell you that Tupac was in the backseat of his car.
He had
Brendan,
right next to
yes,
him.
This is a basketball podcast, but guess what? We don't need to just shut up and dribble. We could talk about other stuff too.
We do talk about other stuff. We are multi-purpose around here. Yes, we are. Yes. We definitely are multi-purpose.
I'm trying to find what you asked me to find, and I can't. I'm struggling to find it, and it's really pissing me off. I might even find something that you're going to be like, that's not what I was thinking of, but I don't even, whatever.
Let me get all this stuff.
You know which one it was?
Let me get all my stuff back to my man Tony Tone. So
I'm gonna put oh, there it is. I found it.
Okay. So we got it. Okay,
it was this one. It was this one. I only have one that's okay. I'm gonna show you like 5 different ones. I'm gonna show you 5 different ones, and then I'll let you just pick. But let's talk about something else. So are we talking about the fake moon landing or no? Should I bring him on? Yes or no?
I'll do it again for you, Tom.
That makes me so happy. Okay, let me
for you. I'll do it again.
Flat Earth Dave. Fake moon landing. Okay, we got that.
It's the last time, no, Tom.
I have the guy from Birds Aren't Real. Can we bring him back?
Oh my God! You know what? I do want to talk to him. I do want to talk to the Birds Aren't Real dude. Yes, let's talk to this dude. He
convinced my son. He convinced Fluent Jr. and now Fluent Jr. Now, let me be clear. Fluent Jr. loves to mess with his mom, And so every time he sees a bird, because of me, every time he sees a bird on the on like one of the power lines,
Yeah.
he's like, look, it's recharging, so it can spy on us.
You started this, Tone. This is your fault, Tone. You're the one who started this. And I'm sure Mrs. Fluent is looking at you like,
birds are government robots. Hey, yo, you got it right.
This is all you, Tone. You started this, and you've got a mini me in him. And by the way, and my niece is the same way. Just so you know, she's just got it in her own way.
She's too smart. She's too smart. She doesn't fall for it.
I haven't seen it yet, Tone, but she's got the troll in her too.
You think?
100% she got the troll in her from her father. Yes, she got that. Hell yes, she does. You just haven't seen it yet. You just have not seen it.
We in trouble if she starts doing it.
Oh, she's got the troll in her.
100%. We in trouble. She's tough. Boom. I'm bringing something up. I apologize. I know I'm being like so rude right now. Okay, here we go. Bam. Okay. Because I gotta send them. I gotta upload them. It's a whole process. But while that's happening, it's okay. We can multitask while that's happening. There were so many other things I wanted to talk about too outside of the Flat Earth Dave. And speaking of Fluent Jr., can you tell Uncle Chill? Come here, it's okay. Before you go to bed, can you tell Uncle Chill about birds? Are they real?
No.
Are birds real? Yes or no?
What are they?
They're robots, bro. They're
Are you convinced that they're robots? Are you convinced of that? So if you see a bird,
are you convinced the robots? Tell them the theory.
So nephew, let me ask you a question real quick, nephew. If you see a bird, like you know how when you see birds on power lines, right? If you see a bird on a power line, what are you thinking?
I think that it's just recharging.
That's it. It's not. Oh my god. You don't think that. There's no way you think that. So let me ask you this, then, nephew. Where is the battery in the bird?
In its butt.
Oh my god.
Okay, hold on.
Wait,
this
is live right now?
This is live. Yeah, totally live right now. But hold on. Let's move on to something better.
Can I have my trivia?
I
want a trivia.
Yes, he wants a trivia question. So every week I tell him if he's here, I'm going to give him. So here's this week's trivia question. Don't help him out.
I'm not going to say a word.
All right. In NBA history, 9 players have won 3 MVPs or more.
3 of them.
Okay.
Who are they?
Larry Bird. No. Wait, sorry. Magic Johnson.
No, yeah.
Okay, Larry and Magic.
Okay.
2. Kobe, MJ.
Nope.
Hold on, I gotta write these down. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kobe,
MJ,
yeah.
MJ.
Shaq.
Nope.
Did he?
Nope.
No. Kareem.
Yep.
How many is that? 5?
That's 5.
So
no, you got 5.
He said
Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kobe.
Yeah. Kobe has not won 3 league MVPs. He never won 3 league
Kobe
MVPs.
did not. Yeah, you're right. Kobe did not. You're right. You're absolutely right. So you got Larry Bird, Magic Johnson,
LeBron,
Michael Jordan, Kareem, LeBron. Yeah, that's fun. Okay, you got 5.
That's 5.
You got 4 more.
Jokic.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 more.
We're working. We're working.
Did they have MVPs in Bill Russell's day?
Not only did they have MVPs in Bill Russell's day, but you tell us. Okay,
Wilt and Bill Russell, yeah.
No, we're missing one.
You got 1. Do you know who it is? He'll tell you. He knows.
I don't know. 3 league MVPs or more. 3 of them.
Oh, Moses Malone.
There we go. There we go.
Yes, sir.
There we go.
All right, go to bed.
Nice job.
Good night.
I'm not going to bed right now.
You're not going to bed? Well, you're a champ.
Go to bed.
What's your prize? Let me know what your prize is later. And we'll figure it out.
Yes, sir.
I thought he'd miss Jokic. Because Jokic is so fresh. Did you lose me? Can you hear me?
No, I'm still here. I'm still listening to you. There's I don't see how he would miss Jokic, considering he's the front runner this year for number 4.
But yeah, it's going to be number 4.
Right. So
it's going to be number 4. It's good. We brought him into transition to basketball.
How are we going to explain that, Tom? Like, if Joker wins league MVP number 4, right? Because I think Denver right now, I think they're the fourth place team in the West, 4th or the 5th place team in the West. If Joker wins league MVP number 4, and he's only got 1 league championship, right? And it wasn't in dramatic fashion, but he's got 1 league championship, and he's been in the league. Let's see, I think this is year 9 we're in. He showed up in 14, so we're in year 10. I'm sorry. He's got 1 league championship. His prime, he's in his prime. Mm-hmm. So as opposed to his peak, how are we going to explain him?
Well, isn't this his peak?
That's what I'm thinking, Tom. And I'm thinking about
peaks. How much better can he get than this?
That's what I'm thinking. And not only how much better can he get, Tom, how much longer? How many more of these years are we getting at a Joker?
See, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So are you right? Is this year 10?
He showed up in 14-15.
Well, but he didn't play that year.
Right.
15-16 was his first year that he played, because he still was playing in Europe. So 15-16 was his rookie season, right?
Okay, so we're in year 9. They drafted him in 14-15.
That's right. This is year 9.
So we're in year 9. And what year, in your estimation, Tone, do you think Joker became elite?
I think this is year 6 of elite status.
Now I got some people that tell me it's year 7.
Year of elite? Well, hold on.
That's what I got some people telling me.
Okay, so year 1, he's a 10. It's not, as a rookie, he's not. He's 10-7. He's not that guy.
So that's 15-16.
That's 15-16. 16-17, he's 16-10.
Not elite.
That's not elite. Nope. Year 3, so 17-18, he's 18-10, which is nice, but I don't think that's.
I think he's damn good. I don't think he's elite yet.
I think where you have to start elite is 18-19 is the first year that he's an all-star. He's 20-11 and 7.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's 4th in MVP voting. So I think that's the first year of
first team all pro that year too, by the way.
First team all pro. The next season, again, he's top 10 in MVP voting, but he's 20, 10, and 7. Okay. An all-star, second team all NBA. So I think that's when when you're in that stratosphere, that's when it starts.
So 18-19
here. Yeah, that's
right.
still
so we're on it. So 18-19, 19-20,
6,
20-21. Okay, so we got 6 years of elite Joker.
This is year 7 of elite Joker.
That's what I'm saying. So
we're
in year 7.
He gives us 3 more of all pro, all-star, these type of numbers. Look, I expect the numbers to dip back down to maybe mid-20s in points and that type of stuff. But as long as he keeps that kind of status, I think there's your 10 years that you need.
Okay.
Right. So he'll have the 3 years before. This is what I'm seeing in his career. The 3 years before that were good, but not crazy. A 10-year stretch of eliteness, and then probably another 3 years at the end. So he'll have a 16-year career, 10 elite years, and that 10 years, if it stays on par with, so like what I mean by the drop off being the same as what the last 2 or 3 years have been, maybe. Not what this year is. I think 2 years, 3 years of what he's doing now, and then another year. I think now you're putting him in the top 10 all time.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Tone, because I specifically wanted to talk about this with you today. I'm glad we brought up Joker because, there's a difference, Tone, between prime and peak. And I feel like we're in peak Joker years. I don't think we're in prime. We got
peak,
prime
peak
Joker
is 2021. Peak is 2021 until we'll see. I think he's in that peak. 2021
2021, 21,
he's
22,
26.
22,
He's 26, 10, and 8. He wins the MVP. He's first team all NBA. You got to put that in speak. So those years he's 26. Let me go back. 26, 11, and 8. 27, 14, and 8. 25, 12, and 10. Right? Like all those numbers.
I think 22, 23. That's peak Joker. Even 21, 22, the back-to-back league MVPs, Joker. I think it started.
You don't think that's his peak though?
I don't. I feel like we're in peak years. I think this is year. I want to say this is year 3 of peak year Joker. That's
Hold
what
on.
I'm
In those
thinking.
2 years, that you don't want to count, those 2 years combined, let me just give you this. Those 2
Sure.
years combined, he wins 2 MVPs. He's first team All NBA both years. He averages 26.7.
Yep.
Not 12.3 rebounds, 8.1 assists, 1.4 steals,
Yep.
and 0.8 blocks on 57 from the field, 36 from 3, and 84 from the free throw line. Like how is that?
Now, okay. Now, with what you just said, Tone,
insane.
I'll entertain 22 because the year he won the league MVP. Excuse me. The year he won the league MVP, that was the year that he finished 6th. They finished 6th in the Western Conference, and he basically had the same season as Jabbar did, his 75-76, where he basically was, the analytics darling, where he led the league in everything. But when I think about how good he was then compared to how good he is now, Tone, I think 2023, I think 2024, I think 2025 Joker clears that guy.
I agree. I agree, but when I look at peak, I look at a mountain. And
Sure.
I feel like from the beginning of his career, like starting at 10 points per game, right? This is where 2021 comes in, but it's still like the snowy part. Like, is it the tip of the mountain? No, but it's still the snowy part of the mountain. So that's why I'm saying peak, meaning the 2 years before his absolute best season, and like the 2-3 years, again, some people's are longer, but typically for the 2 years before, the 2-3 years at the top, and then the 2-3 years as he's just kind of fading. That's, I would say, the peak of the mountain. I'll give you a little Illuminati for this Jay-Z fans, Rockefeller yell, right?
Yep.
Like that's the top, and then this was the before and after that led up and trailed down from it. So that's all I'm saying is, yes, these 2-3 years, you're right, are better, but do we not give him credit for that ascension?
And we that's what I'm saying. We do give him credit for that ascension, Tone, but when we get to the peak of it, like when we get to the top of this mountain, because we're still going up, but I feel like where we are now, I feel like we're leveling. It's like a plane. Okay.
Yeah, he's going to plateau. He's going to plateau for sure.
And that's where I think we are. How many more? Because you said, Tone, if we could get 3 more years of All Pro, All Star, MVP caliber, MVP. Okay, great. That's great, Tone. Well, my question is how many more years of this Joker are we going to get
this year? That's why I'm using 21, 22 as part of the peak, because I could
that's where I think it started.
I could see, and I hope that but I could see this being his season. And then next year it's not as good. And next year's like so
now we start going the other way after this year.
And that's what I'm saying. This year's crazy, right? A 30-point triple-double. He could get the triple crown. And I don't know that that's ever been done. You can probably you're the historian. Has anyone ever led in points, rebounds, and assists?
No,
I don't think so, right? He's on pace to do something. Now, it's very early. It's very early.
It's ridiculously early.
Mm-hmm. But he's on pace to do something like that. So do I think a guy could average a 30-point triple-double at the center position and lead the league in points, rebounds, and assists and do that more than once? No. So I'm saying next year, if he's averaging 27, 12, and 8, I'm like, that's still peak, right? But okay, it doesn't compare to this year. But that's still
it doesn't.
Peak Jokic, right?
It is still peak Jokic, but and that's where the divide comes in, Tone. The reason why I'm asking you that is because when you're talking about the league MVP, when he won the league MVP in 22, I think he was like 26, 12, and like 8, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So this year, I think we're at like 29, 13, and I think he's leading the league in assists. The last guy that, if I remember
29, 13.4, and 10.9.
Yeah, come on, 29. So he's 29, 13, and 11. That's goofy, Tone. That doesn't make any sense. But with that being said,
and let's be clear, also adding in 1.5 steals and a block.
Yes, 1.5 steals and a block. Right.
Who is this guy? Second round
ridiculous.
pick.
It's ridiculous what he's doing. The question that I ask, and I've always told you, how I feel about the 5-year rule. You know how I feel about the 5-year rule. My question is with Joker, because we're in year 9 right now. At what point does this Joker do just this? And how much longer do we have this Joker? And when the reason why I'm asking you that, Tone, is because when you're talking about top 10 all time, top 10 big guys all time, That's what we have to factor in. How long was Shaq's, like, when did Shaq become, when did I get, what were peak Shaq years in your estimation? I think it was 99 to 2003.
2000, yeah.
I think that's peak Shaq years, right?
You like
how does that compare?
I was just saying that.
How does that compare to, and that was okay, 98, 99, 99, 2000, 2000, 2001. So that's a 5-year peak. That's not Shaq in terms of his prime. I think Shaq's prime, I'm going to say 95 to 06.
Sure. Yeah.
I'll say 95.
I would say that second year in Miami, and then
yes,
right?
The year that they won the NBA championship.
Yeah.
Now, there's some people who say 94 when I think he finished right behind Dave Robinson in scoring that year. I think that we were close to prime Shaq. I think 95, the year that they lost to the Rockets, I think that's prime Shaq.
Shaq is so hard. Shaq is such a hard person when we have this conversation because as an overall basketball player, okay, and I'm sorry, Shaq, because I know you watch our show. Jokic is a better overall basketball player, but Shaq is more offensively. Shaq is more dominant. And that's a tough thing because Jokic is more skilled. But like if you ask me who I want as my starting center, I'll probably pick Shaq 10 times out of 10 because the dominance. But like who's the better passer? Who's the better rebounder? Who's the better no, that's who's the better shooter? Those all go to Jokic. All the skill sets go to Jokic, but the dominance means something too. And Jokic would have a really hard time if he was playing and Shaq was playing and they were in a game together. Like I think he would have a very, very
Shaq
hard
has
time.
actually said that he thinks he'd have a difficult time with. And I'm on record, Tone. I think Joker would have bust Alonzo Mourning ass. I do. I think he would have bust Alonzo Mourning ass.
I agree because he does so many things.
Yes,
and that's why it's that's why Shaq. I know we use Shaq as the example because he's the most dominant center to play in our lifetime, right? Because I can't speak on Bill and Wilt. I can't. I can't. Whereas they're
like mythical creatures, though. That's what
it's
they
just
really are.
It's hard, right? But like with Shaq, we saw every single game, so it's easy to be like, I can relate to him, right? And he was just so dominant that when we try to compare anyone to him, I'm just like, I don't know that I can. Like, let's use another center because it's just so
right. And I think the reason you feel like that, Tone, is because Shaq can be, if somebody told you, I think Shaq is the 4th best player in NBA history. I don't know if I can argue that. I don't
make that argument.
But if somebody told you, like where I have him, I think Shaq is the 10th best player in NBA history. You can argue that too. As opposed to if somebody said, Shaq isn't in the top 15 because Shaq is just so awesome. Okay, so with that being said, if you want me to use somebody else, I'm thinking about Ewing. I think Ewing, very much like Shaq, from 89 to 93, Ewing had a 5-year peak where he was fantastic. In 92, he finished 3rd in the league in league MVP votes. And there's some people who can make the argument, he should have won the league MVP that year. I think he finished 3rd in scoring that year. He was 28, 12. I think he was 28, 11, and 2 blocks that year. There was a real conversation. In 95, Olajuwon has separated himself from both David Robinson and Ewing in 95. Up until that point, Tone, it was this between those 3 guys.
100%.
It wasn't like Olajuwon was better than all 3 of these dudes. David Robinson, no, that wasn't the case. I think Olajuwon's peak, very much like what you talked about with Shaq. I think Olajuwon gave me a 4-year peak. I think it was from around 92 to about 96.
What if, because the more I look at Jokic's stuff, what if this year though is just a blip? What if his plateau, like you said, what if his plateau started in 21, right? Where he, like I said, where he was 26, 11, and 8. Because that's pretty much like, okay, he went up to 14 one year, but he's been around that 11, 12, 13 rebounds, 8, 9, 10 assists. So since 21, right, it's been mid-20s. It's been mid-20s points per game, low teens rebounds, and just under 10 assists. What if that's his plateau peak? This year's a blip, and then he gives us another 3-4 years like those first 4, and this is just the blip. maybe that's his peak plateau, and now he has an 8-year, 7-year, whatever plateau.
So
Because that's not bad. Like, let's be honest, 27, 12, and 9.
Actually, a good number.
It's pretty great numbers. Oh,
I don't think that that's-
whatever.
All right, nephew, go to
Good
bed.
night.
Night chill.
Go to bed.
I didn't.
Love you, kid.
Kid wants to be a superstar.
Okay, so this is what I'm thinking about. So
Yeah.
Joker.
So would that
So-
be acceptable?
So the 21-22 season. We're talking the 27, 14, and 8 season. Is that
I'm talking.
That was the second. That was the second year he won the
Yeah.
league MVP.
Yes, that was the second year he won the MVP.
So that's probably the best version of Joker. Even though, Tone, this version of Joker that we're seeing right now, I think he's miles better than that guy. I don't think he's better than that guy in 22.
But I'm just saying, I
And-
wonder if the numbers are just a blip because of so many. There's so many factors that go
They
into
are
this,
that-
right? So
Here's the difference, though, Tony. They're not that far off. I mean, you're telling me what he did in 22 and what he's doing this year. I mean, he was 13. I think he was like 13 boards in 22. What is he? 14 this year? It's not like he's 17 or 18, right? He was 27 in 22. What is he? 29. So it's not like it's not like in terms of the numbers. It's not like they were from when he was in year 5 where he was like 20 and 9, right? I think that's different. What I'm thinking about is this guy in 2023, in terms of him being a player, I don't think that those two guys, the guy in 2021 who won the league MVP, the guy in 21-22, those two guys, I don't think that they're comparable to this guy. Just the way he sees the game, how he passes, playmates, how he processes the game. Those two guys, I think that they're like this, Tone. I don't think it's close between those two guys. But when you tell me, Jay, if I got to get 3 more years of him at this level, I think that's asking too much. Are you telling me, Tone, that we're going to get 3 more years of just all pro him, or are we talking about 3 more years of peak Joker? Because
no,
I don't think
I'm saying
3
I think 2 to 3 more years of the guy he was before this year. So all pro.
Okay.
Yeah, all pro. Like I said, the numbers come at, mid 20s, like 25, 26 points, 11, 12 rebounds, 8, 9 assists. So the guy we saw a couple of years ago.
If I can get 25 and 11, if I can get 25, 11, and 8 for 3 more years, which I don't, and it doesn't sound ridiculous, Tone, because
it should, because he's not built on athleticism.
No, that's not
right.
his game.
He that's not his game. So, and to this point, and knock on wood, right? He doesn't have. He's got a good build. So he hasn't been injury prone. So assuming nothing happens, there's no reason why. Like, how old is he? He's 29.
29.
Yep. So to say a center could go to 32 is before there's like a dip. I think you're going to get, like I said, from that 21 season, like I said, from that 21 and then to the 6, 7, 8 to 2028, you're going to get this Joker. He vaults into. He's going to have the accolades. He's going to have the stats. He's going to have the longevity. He's going to have everything you want from your center.
Yes.
And he might go down. No, he will go down as the best offensive center ever. In terms of, especially from a skill set, like we haven't seen a big man who can pass, shoot, like just do the things run an offense, initiate an offense. We've seen some glimpses of guys here and there, but this is a guy doing it night in, night out. And let's be honest, his supporting cast is kind of garbage right now, at least shooting wise. He doesn't even have an all-pro teammate.
When they won a
championship, and I love Jamal Murray.
When they won a championship, he didn't have an all-pro teammate or an all-star. He didn't. Not one.
In an era, now, it's one thing if you're doing it in an era that nobody has it, but in an era where a lot of teams do. They do.
Most of the teams do.
Right? Have that secondary guy.
Right. Whether it's an all-star, whether it's an all-star,
all defensive. Yeah. Like he doesn't even have, like, I love Jamal Murray. He's not even an all-star, although I think he could be, but he hasn't even been an all-star. And let's be honest, he's inconsistent. He's had some issues with injuries. Like that was
Sure.
part of the problem, right? What he's doing is incredible. And I hope I'm not understating what he's been incredible.
Well, Tone, again, when we think about, because I want to make sure that I'm clear, Tone. You've said to me countless times, the toughest top 5 to crack, you think it's the 2 guard. You've said that to me more than once.
No, small forward.
That's what it is. Small forward. I apologize.
Shooting guard. Shooting guard's one of the weakest.
You think it's the small forward spot with Bird, James, KD. Yeah. I think it's the 5 spot. I think that's the toughest.
That's what I think. Those are the 2 toughest. Small forward and center, 100%. Yeah.
I think that's the toughest one to crack. So when we're talking about a guy cracking that top 5, and the guys that are at this stage still in front of him, I think that it's incredible what he's doing and the standard that we got to hold him to in order to crack that top 5. So to get past Moses, to get past David Robinson, and to get into that top 5, and to get past Shaq, and to get past Olajuwon, like what he would have to do and continue to do. Because again, Tone, and I know I sound like a broken record, I need at least a decade, man. I do. I need 10 years before I can start talking about you like these other dudes. Because that's what they gave me.
Your guy Mars posted a question on TikTok and said, what is it that Jokic needs to do to be in the conversation? Yep. And I responded to him and I was like, time. If he does what he's doing for 2 or 3 more years, that's the only thing stopping him from catapulting into the all-time great status. Is just, listen, I know this is shorter and Jokic has done it longer, but sure. I say Bill Walton isn't top 75. And not because he wasn't a top 75 talent, not because he didn't do top 75 thing. He didn't do it long enough. I'm sorry.
That does matter.
And that does matter. So Jokic, so that's the only thing Jokic has to do is if he gives me 2 or 3 more years, there's nothing you can say that would pull him out. Because here's the thing. When you look at the top 5 at the center position, right? When you talk Kareem, Shaq, Russell, Wilt, Olajuwon, Moses. But when you talk about typically those 5, though, the one thing that is consistent for at least 4 of them, Shaq to a lesser degree, but for 4 of them, they were all in center-driven eras.
The competition was a lot different.
Yeah, Bill, Russell and Wilt were very much put the ball into the big man. Kareem was very much put the ball into the big man.
Sure.
Even when he had Magic and they were running Showtime, it was still, hey, when all else fails, get it into the cap, right? Get it into the cap.
Mm-hmm.
So those 3 guys were in that era. Shaq, Olajuwon was at the tail end of that era because he did go into the 90s where it started to become more guard-centric. Shaq, although played half of his career in the guard-centric, what I'll call guard-centric era, the 90s was still, because of the team's makeup, was, get the ball to the big man, right? Like, okay, he had Kobe saying, if you want the ball, get it off the rebound. But let's be honest, the triangle offense is actually
around the big fella.
Is centered around the big man if you actually understand how the triangle works. So Jokic is in an era where everybody wants to shoot threes. Everyone wants to go small ball. Most teams don't have a center, like a real traditional, like you've got the 3rd best center in the league is a power forward. I would say if you have Bam at 3 or 4, wherever you have Bam, he's a power forward. Right. So he's doing it in a league that hates the big man. So the fact that he was able to do what big men do, because he's still posting up, he's still getting rebounds, he's blocking shots, he's right. But he's also doing all the skill stuff. He's getting double-digit assists or close to it. He's initiating the offense. He's playing outside and in. He is the most skilled offensive big man we've ever seen do it consistently. Right? We saw a guy, Arvydas Sabonis, who had the same skill set, but we saw him when he was old with bad feet. Here's a guy that's already been doing it, what we've said, for 5 years. So if he gives me 2 or 3 more, he's your guy. He's your guy.
I still think he's got to win some more, Tone. I do.
That will come back to haunt him. It's same thing with Giannis. If they both end up with only 1, they're both going to get the but 1. One's 1. It's tough. It's tough when you win 1.
Right.
Wilt gets killed because he won 2 and he went 6. What do you go? 6 times he went to the finals. He's 2 and 4. Yeah, he gets killed because he only won 2.
Right.
Not centers, but like Malone, Barkley. These guys get killed for winning none. So if you have like none or 1, there's gonna be a percentage that goes, dude, like,
why didn't you win more?
Yeah, why didn't you win more if you're so dominant?
Right.
This one's gonna hurt, but I'm gonna post it anyways because it is a super chat. Fluent had to deal with Aaron Rodgers, now Jokic. Yep, he's absolutely correct. Aaron Rodgers kicked our butt in Chicago. As you know, look, I even covered did you notice I covered the helmet? It's gone. I will not even show my Bears helmet right now. I'm so pissed at them right
going
now.
on?
I'm so pissed. And now Jokic is just treating my Lakers like LeBronto.
That's exactly what's happening, Tone. That is not sort of kind of what's happening. That is exactly what's happening.
You can't beat that.
Every team has the team that has their number, and that was exactly what was going on with James. They own Toronto. They did.
And it's it's so funny because it's things that are just unexplainable. You know this because you're a 49ers fan. Every time the Arizona Cardinals, they could win 1 game, but if the Arizona Cardinals went into Seattle, they beat them. They're the only team that would go into Seattle and beat them.
Meanwhile, we can't win a game up there.
Seattle would be they'd be 7-1 every year at home because Arizona would go in there
and beat them.
13. Yeah, 3-13.
The Legion of Boom, they go in there and own them dudes. I'm like, how come we can't go in there and win? What the hell are they doing?
It's just something.
What the hell are they doing? So I brought that up, Tone, because I was having a conversation
Thank you, Adrian.
ago, and I'm thinking about Joker, and I'm thinking about how good Joker is, how long this can last, and are you better than me if you are better than me when I'm at my best? Are you better than me?
Am I? Hold on, I need to make sure I get
that
question.
Tone,
are you better than me when I'm at my best?
So Tone, you showed up in 1996, and you played from 96 to 2010. That's 14 years. Your prime started. I'm going to say in 2000, and your prime lasted from 2000 to 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm gonna say your prime started in 99, right? You showed up in 96. Your prime started in 99. Your peak was 2001 to 2005. This is when you were at your best. This isn't your prime, Tone. This is your peak years from 2001 to 2005. This is when you were at your best. Then from 2005, you're still in your prime in 2005, but then it starts to taper off, and then that prime lasts from 2000. It lasts from 99 to probably, let's say, 2008. And then you retire in 2010. Now, so for those 4 years of your peak, you were better than me. And I played 15 years and I had a longer prime. Were you better than me?
Ooh. Maybe.
Possibly.
Possibly, because I think the way I look at it, you look at peak versus peak, prime versus prime, career versus career. When I'm saying who's better, now you could say this person's, because people have this conversation, right? This person's peak was better than the other person's peak, but that doesn't necessarily make them better, because I want to compare peaks, I want to compare primes, and then I want to compare careers. And so possibly, if you were better, if you peaked higher and your prime was better, it's gonna be tough, because people will forget those first couple of years and those last couple of years that everybody goes through struggles in those, typically in those years. Not many people are at their best and retire, right? They have a couple of down years and retire. Not everybody's their best at the beginning of their career, right? They need to figure stuff out. Like very few people just, and off they go. So I think that's where, how long did it take you to ramp up? How long was your prime? Whose prime was better? How long was your peak? Whose peak was better? And that's why it's tough, because each person values different stuff. And we're going to remember who peaked higher. I think we're always going to remember, because
that's where the divide is with me, Tone.
Yeah.
And the reason why that's where the divide is with me, because there's guys who peaked higher, but in terms of their longevity, you weren't better than me for as long as you were. And that's where the divide is with me. Just because you were better than me for these I don't know, let's say 3 or 4 years, but I had 8, 9 years of sustainability where I was awesome, where you knew for a fact on a Tuesday, this was me. And then I did have a peak of, let's say 2 or 3 years, but your peak was 4 years. That doesn't make you better than me because because in my prime, I was better for longer. That's where the divide is with me.
Yeah, and look, and people are gonna, especially now, we are so focused on the wrong thing, to be honest. But I think we're so focused on the skill set, their bag, and a lot of, well, they could have if they.
Why is that a bad thing, Tone? I want to stop you right there. Like why? Because we focused on the skill set. We focused on Magic's passing. We focused on Olajuwon's box work. We focused on Shaq around the basket. Why is it a bad thing to be focused on this guy, the Damian Lillard shooting? Why is it? It's a bad thing.
I'll tell you why. Because I see clips, and I'm not knocking this guy, but he's the easy one. Everybody knows him, right? I see these clips of Jason Williams, white chocolate. When I say Jason Williams, not the other Jason Williams. And they're like, look at him. What a passer. Look at that. Whoa. Dude, it didn't translate into nothing. He was 5 points and 3 assists a game. Like, he didn't produce.
So if it's empty, it doesn't matter. I can get
So if the skill set is that, right? Kyrie Irving, oh, man, he can dribble so great. Not one person, when I ask them their list of top 10s at any position or overall, say Kyrie Irving, but everyone talks about his skill set and if anything you say ends with a if or a, could have, should have, then that's why I mean, like, let's not fall. Skill set's important,
sure.
And let's not fall in love with, he can make every pass, but he didn't. Well, then, right? Like I say this to you all the time. The highest basketball IQ ever that I've ever experienced, seen, heard is Kobe. But Kobe didn't use that IQ on the court all the time. And I knock him for that. I'm mad at him for that. But have you ever seen anyone break down film and tell you about angles? And like he's a geometry
ridiculously
teacher.
smart.
Ridiculous,
smart.
right?
Yes,
he could analyze a player and figure out their weaknesses like that and go against them. But he didn't always use, like, sometimes he just said, F it, I'm going to shoot.
It's kind of like a boxer, Tone. It's very much like a boxer. You see a boxer with ridiculous hands, ridiculous footwork, but he'll get punched in the face and he'll turn into a street fighter instead of consistently, staying with the technique, staying with, how skilled you are. No, he'll get punched in the face and he'll revert right back to being, if he's on the street.
Floyd Mayweather is a perfect example of knowing your strengths, being super smart and sticking to it. Because let's be honest, if he put his guard down and fought somebody, I think he would have been knocked out 100 times. But he is so smart. He understands the angles and defense so well that he's just like, I'm never losing. Like, that's the smartest boxer. For anything you want to say about him, that's the smartest boxer I've ever seen in my life. And he sticks to it. But if you have someone who knows all that, but then they go in, come on, hit me, man. Hit like a Rocky, right? Hit me, buddy. Hit me. Yeah, you're going to get knocked out and you're going to lose. And so that's why I say that's the skill set mentalities. Yeah, I know I should have my hands up and I should do this, but instead I'm just putting my head in front and waiting for you to punch me. Well, then your skill set is useless if you're not using it.
Absolutely.
So we got a couple of super chats. So I'm going to get to them in 1 second, but first let me show you, because you wanted to see the other stages.
Yeah.
Although we do have the football one, but that's for a different show. That's for From the Sideline. Have you seen From the Sideline yet?
No, I haven't.
I'll show you the logo too. It's nice. Little football show. Yeah. I like it. Check it out. We have a wrestling show coming soon too. I gotta get all these new shows up and running so I can retire. I'm gonna retire. I'm just gonna do Fluent and Chill. That's it. I'm retiring from everything else. Let me see. Where do we go? Okay. So there's this one that we were using. This is the one that you.
That's the one I like the most.
That's the one. Yeah.
I'll
go back to that in a second. There's this one. Hold on. Let me do what you like first. Hold on. People, anyone watching, Chill has a request here, so we're gonna.
I do like that one.
I know that's okay. Bam. Let's see. Okay. So this was the original one.
Yep.
If you haven't checked out We Got Next, by the way, with Paul McKeskey, former NBA center, check that out too, because he's dude knows hoops. So that's the one that you liked with the Fluent and Chill.
Yes.
This is the Fluent and Chill Sports News Center, breaking scores in the background. I don't know how you feel about that. This is the Sports Fluent TV Media Center. You can see this is the NFL, NHL. This is kind of everything. There's another Fluent and Chill one. This one has a few more hoops. That's single chair. That might be one. Oh no, here I'm sitting on the bench over here. You got the lead chair, and then this is our trophy room.
Twitch, just so you know, Twitch, as you know, I'm a Jason Tatum fan, and anybody who knows me knows that I've been trying to get Tone on the Jason Tatum train for years now.
Never happened.
I can't. And I've come up with very, just so you know, my co-host is a very smart man, right? Very smart man. And I've been able to come up with compelling arguments where he can see my side of the argument and I can change his mind. I've done that in the past. Yes. I cannot convince him that Jason Tatum is the best player in the league. And you know why I can't convince him of that? Because I don't believe that. That's why. If I believed it, I could put something together to convince Tone, or for on the low end, for him to at least think about it. Damn, chill. All right, Jay. I didn't think about that. But I don't have anything right now that's compelling enough to convince him, because I don't believe that he's the best player in the league. I don't. That's why I couldn't sell it. So the idea that Jason Tatum, I'm convinced he's the best player in the league. No, I don't think that. No, I do not think Jason Tatum is the best player in the league. I do think he's one of the 3 best players in the league, though. 100%, I believe that. Yes.
You think he's one of the 3 best players in the league?
I do. I think he's moved up. Yes, sir. I think he's one of the 3 best players in the league, and I can tell you right now, Tone, it's going to get even trickier if they win it again this year, and he plays the way I think he's going to play in the playoffs. It's going to get even trickier.
Yeah, because he's not. Listen, at this rate, he's not winning the MVP. If Jokic keeps doing what he's doing, he's not winning the MVP. He would have to win, I guess, the Eastern Conference MVP. And
he already did that. So he
did not win the Eastern Conference MVP.
He won it in 23. He won it in 22, Tone, when they went to the finals.
Oh, I meant
yes, he did.
Okay, fine.
The Larry Bird Trophy. Yes, he did. He won it.
Fair.
So,
but okay, final. He needs to win his finals MVP.
If he wins the finals,
I'll tell you right now. If Jaylen Brown wins Eastern Conference Finals MVP Eastern Conference MVP
it'd be hard
and Finals MVP again,
it would be hard for me to defend that.
Even if you disagree, which you have every right to.
Yeah. It would be hard for me to defend that.
That's going to be tough. Okay, we've got like a bunch of really good topics.
Yep.
Do you want to do the super chats and then get into those?
Let's get into the super chats and mix those into the topics.
Okay, so let's see what we got for super chats here. This, some of them are. Oh, this one we already said, so that one we're good. Yes, that is correct. What's up, fellas? Fluent. Here we go. I proposed this trade to Chill. Okay, he don't think Toronto would do it. But do you think Oche and Bruce Bowen for D'Lo and Gabe first helps the D?
No.
Okay.
Toronto is not doing that. They're not. Toronto is not doing that. They're not giving the lake. First and foremost, okay, just so you know, Smokey, my co-host over here, my man Tone, he's a businessman. And one of the things that he is adamant about, I am not helping you. That is not my job to help you, especially when it doesn't help me.
See, I'm torn. I'm torn on this one. What's up, Smokey? You better have my money. All right. What up, big worm? I mean, big perm. I mean, big worm. Okay. I love that movie. Do you know we got a bootleg copy of that movie? We get a bootleg version of that movie, and we used to watch it every day. And like when I say bootleg, I mean like you saw a dude get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of it, like really like a bad one. And we would just recite lines for that movie and drive people crazy. But anyway, as a Laker fan, sure, I do that all day. But from Toronto's standpoint, there's nothing. Like the first isn't going to help. I don't even know when the Lakers have, like, when is it? 2032? When's their next first that they have?
31, I think.
So Gabe is garbage. Let's just be honest. Whatever lightning in a bottle they found in Miami, he's been trash. So no one wants him. D'Lo, I believe, is on a pretty bad contract, but again, please correct me if I'm wrong about his contract. Bruce Bowen, yeah, they're looking to move. However, Oche, can you say I always say his last name wrong. Agbaji is one of 3 Raptors players that's probably up for most improved. Him, Jakob Poeltl, and Grady
Powell?
Grady Dick.
Grady Dick, sure.
Those 3 guys are up for most improved. Like now, some of it had to do with the fact that Scotty Barnes was out with that orbital break for a while, so they were able to get more touches. Like you see, RJ Barrett was averaging like 30-something points a game while he was out. That's going to change.
Shout out to RJ Barrett, by the way. I was getting a lot.
I know that's your guy. I know you always liked him.
I love RJ Barrett. Yes, I do.
Okay, so expiring. So is D'Lo's expiring? So here's the thing. The Bruce Brown thing, I could see them looking to move off Bruce Brown. I get it. He doesn't fit in with the Raptors' kind of youth movement. But Agbaji, I think, is part of their future. So I doubt that they would move a young player to get a first-round pick in a million years, a Gabe who they're going to probably release, and a D'Lo. I think they're better off with those 2 guys over basically D'Lo and a first. So yeah, of course the Lakers, as a Laker fan, I'm taking that deal. I don't think it's happening. Yeah. So sorry.
It doesn't benefit Toronto because Toronto is one of those teams that if you look at, even though Toronto is one of the better cities, but okay, where'd they get Grady at? They got Grady Dick in the draft. They got Agbaji in the draft. They got Scotty Barnes in the draft. Right. So
and that's the other thing I was going to say. An expiring contract to Toronto means nothing because it's not even at their best, at their peak, it wasn't a free agent destination.
Right.
So now when they're kind of bottom of the league, as great of a city as Toronto is, having money that no one wants to come to your city, you're just going to overpay a lesser player to come, which they'd rather have the young player because look at their development. Jakob Poeltl, I believe, was I think we didn't draft him. Did we draft him? Or did we get him? No, we got him in the we got him in the San Antonio trade for DeMar and or did he go over with DeMar? No. Anyways, doesn't matter.
He didn't.
Either way, Jakob Poeltl developed. Scotty Barnes developed. Grady Dick developed. Agbaji developed. Like most of their good. Norman Powell, they brought him over. I want to say from Portland, or was he here and then we sent him to Portland? Either way, their developmental league has been great. I'm having a brain
for everybody else.
Even if you look at Kyle Lowry bounced around from Memphis to Houston and really didn't develop until he came to Toronto. There was a stretch there, if you remember, Toronto was winning all the G League, like the 905 was winning G League championships. Like they're very good at developing players. So the money isn't like other teams where, if we have money, we can sign this guy. Unfortunately, they're not. They're just not. No, they're just not signing. One more from Smokey.
Yep.
Then obviously you have Reeves. Okay, so he's giving us the breakdown. Agbaji, Reddish, LBJ, and AD with a second unit of BB, Max, Vando, went back. Excuse me, and Hayes. Yeah, but we've already established, unfortunately, Smokey, that's that trade's not happening. Sorry. All right. So here's the thing. We talked a lot about Jokic.
Before you go any further, Tone, this comment right here from Jamie Heatley. She says Chris Paul over. I'm sorry. She says Russell Westbrook over Chris Paul. Jamie, I would love to agree with you, but the problem is, even though his resume looks at the end, it looks great. There are things that we have to factor in, like the fact that if you think about the better point guards in the game, I can trust Chris Paul in the meat and potatoes of games more than I can trust Russell Westbrook. I feel like that's where the divide is. I think that's the difference right there. I think from an athletic standpoint, I don't think it's close, but I feel like I can trust my lead guard in Chris Paul more than I can trust Russell Westbrook. That's where the divide is for me.
I kind of change that greater than to maybe equal to, because Chris Paul, I'm sorry, Chris Paul is not reliable in the playoffs. He's always hurt. And availability is an ability that he lacks when it matters most. He always seems to find a way to get hurt. Russ always seems to find a way to not win. But statistically, I'm going to start there. Statistically, Russ over Chris Paul. Statistically. Athletically, Russ over Paul. However, as a pure point guard, sure, Chris Paul, leadership, I would give to Chris Paul. And that's why I say, like, as far as regular season players go, Russ has actually had a better career. He's won MVPs. He's, averaging triple doubles. You got to go, or you're giving. He's won MVPs. He's. I believe he has a scoring title too. Does he not? That year that he. Yeah, two of them. So he is the regular season guy, and both of them. What have they done in the playoffs?
This is what I'm talking about, Tone. I mean, I saw Chris Paul. I mean, he swept Joker out the playoffs when Joker was at. When Joker was at the peak of when Joker was becoming the peak of his powers, he did do that. Took a team to the NBA Finals. He was in the league MVP talks. But more importantly, when I think about what my league guard, his responsibility is as a league guard, he's got to take care of the basketball. And I got to be able to trust him in the meat and potatoes of games. That's not to say that I don't trust Russ. I just trust Chris Paul more. And I think that's where the divide is. Now, if you want to talk about a resume, Tone, if this dude wins an NBA championship, there are going to be some conversations that we're going to have that are going to be so nasty.
About Russ?
They're going to be so nasty because of what he's done. It's going to be, okay, Tone, he's going to get 10,000 assists this year, just so you know. He's going to be a part of the 25,000 point, 10,000 assist club.
How many people are in that club?
One, that's it. One dude. That's it. One guy. That's James. And now he's going to be behind that velvet rope. None of you other dudes can say that y'all did that, but then we got to look at is he a stat compiler and things like that. But he has done all the other stuff. He's had all the accolades. I'm one of 6 guys. I'm one of 6 point guards in league history to win league MVP. I've led the league in scoring. I've led the league in assists. I've done all of this stuff. I averaged a triple double 4 times in 5 years. Nobody can say that. This is the stuff that's on his resume. So when you look at his resume and you put his resume next to other guys' resume, you're like, yikes. Like, what are we going to do with this guy? And then you want to put a championship on that too? Tone, the conversations are going to get super weird. Super. I just think that.
And listen, what's going to happen is we're going to look back because we're seeing it now in real time. And we're picking all the flaws in his game, and we're doing real-time conversations.
Right.
But in 15, 20 years from now, when we're gone and these guys only have – they'll go back and look at game film, and there's nothing – like, he looks good on film. So they're going to go back and look at his resume and his stats and his accolades and go, like, dude, this dude was him. Especially, like you said, if he has if he wins if he has a championship under his belt too,
my goodness.
You're going to have a hard time convincing people he wasn't him.
It's going to get super weird. Super.
All right, let's we got so much to dive into. Let's do I shouldn't have put all those there. Shoot. Oh well. Okay, we're going to do some rapid fire stuff. Okay, you ready?
Let's do it, Tom.
This one I love. This one I love because I love this dude and I hate this dude. And I'll tell you
at
why.
The same time. I think you're fantastic, but I want to choke your lights out also.
Exactly. So Pat Riley wanted to keep the big 3 together. That's Bosh, Wade, and LeBron, if you don't know. And thinks they could have won 6 championships. I believe my son would say cap. That's a load of poop, if you ask me. Oh, we agree. Okay.
In the words of Beavis and Butthead, pee-pee cock. Pee-pee caca.
Pee-pee caca.
Yeah.
Right? No chance. No chance. They were done. That's why LeBron, I'm not, and I again don't knock him for leaving. However, LeBron signed 6 years. For the record, LeBron signed that deal with the Cleveland Cavaliers and then was in a sign and trade and was traded to Miami.
He was traded.
For those that want technically the correct stuff, because if I say he signed with Miami, someone will say, no, he didn't. Signed 6 years. So he signed 6 years, had an out after 4. They lost the first year, as we know, to Dallas, won the next 2 against the Thunder and the Spurs, and then lost to the Spurs. He saw the writing on the wall. He saw Wade was tapering off. I don't know that he knew about Bosch, because Bosch, I think, happened the next year with the blood clots.
2 years later.
2 years later. So I don't think he saw that, but he saw the writing on the wall. And I believe he wasn't seeing eye to eye with Pat Riley, if rumors are true. So that's why he opted out after 4 years and left. However, that being said, if he stays in Miami for those 2 seasons with a hurt Wade and even a healthy Bosch, there's no more money. That team's not winning again. Am I wrong?
There's no more money. No, there's no more money, Tone. There isn't. There is no more money, because after year 4, okay, so James can opt out of that deal and he can ask for more money. That's number 1. And there's no more money. And considering what they had done, going to the NBA championship 4 straight years, won it twice, is he still going to keep playing under the existing contract with that existing money, with Dwayne Wade going the other way, and with Bosch being as ineffective as he was in the NBA Finals? Don't forget, Tony, in Game 7, Chris Bosh had 0 points and 8 rebounds. 0 in Game 7 of the NBA Finals in 2013. That happened, and then 2 years later, he ends up with blood clots, which ends up ultimately derailing his career. And on top of that, to your point, when you talked about him with Dwayne Wade, and this is the reason why I don't ever, and I've said this to you countless times, Tone, and I'll stand on it, I don't think he ever wanted to leave Cleveland. That's why he went back.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think he ever wanted to leave, and because him going back didn't make sense.
Right.
Like, let's just be honest, right? You hate the owner hates you. The city's burning your jersey.
Why are we going back there? What are we going back there for?
And they weren't good. While you were there, they weren't good at putting, rosters around you. No one wanted to go.
They missed the playoffs.
No one wanted to go. No one wanted to go to Cleveland as a free agent even to play with LeBron James. They didn't want to do it.
No.
It's not like you had the best coaches going there. There was nothing attractive from a basketball perspective. I don't want to knock the city, but I could. But there's nothing attractive about going to Cleveland other than I'm from there. Now,
that's it.
Now, that being, like, even if you look, they were given, and I say given, in those 4 years, they were given 3 first overall picks.
Yes.
3 and 5 top 10 picks. And here's what they got out of it. Kyrie.
Yep.
Which, worked.
Sure.
Anthony Bennett, which did not work.
Nope.
Andrew Wiggins, which they flipped for Kevin Love.
Yep.
Dion Waiters. And I want to say Tristan Thompson.
Tristan Thompson, yes, they did.
If I gave you 5 top 10 picks and that was the 5 players, forget the trades for the Kevin Love for a second. If I had 5 top 10 picks in 4 years and said you got Kyrie, Dion Waiters, like you could do a starting line. Kyrie, Dion Waiters, Anthony Bennett, Tristan Thompson, and Andrew Wiggins, you should fire me. But you should also fire me. You should fire me. So he went in thinking, okay, Kyrie, maybe he saw the light with Kyrie, and hey, let's make a move with that other first round pick. Yeah. And so they got Kevin Love, who was a perennial all-star, all-NBA, like was doing great. Like I was never made the playoffs, but was doing
0 times in 6 years.
0 times in 6 years, but was putting up numbers in Minnesota. So he probably saw, okay, here's an opportunity. But even when he went back, there was issues with coaches, even though I like Blatt. Issues with coaches, the roster, then Kyrie wants out. Like there's no other reason, like you said, other than I never wanted to leave in the first place.
I don't think he wanted to leave there in the first place, Tone. I don't. That's why he went back.
Yeah. So
what other reason? What other reason?
No to Pat Riley. No. They're not even.
They're not winning 6.
Yeah.
Just strictly. Let's just take him not wanting to go back to Cleveland. Let's just take him wanting to go back to Cleveland off the table. Let's say he stays in Miami. That team is going to pieces. Wade's going the other way. And wait a minute,
you can't trade Wade.
Well, wait a minute, Chill.
Even though he's going the other way, you can't trade him.
He played 5 more years. Yes, he did play 5 more years.
Yeah,
however, in order to compete at that level, which was the championship level, the Warriors were emerging, right? The Warriors were getting better. Oklahoma City was. You wasn't better than the Spurs at that time, right? Because Kawhi Leonard had gotten better and LaMarcus Aldridge. So the Western Conference was becoming something serious.
Let's be clear. He still probably goes to the finals because the East was still not
what it was.
Like you're
not winning with Wade and Bosh, though. You're not winning
the championship.
No, you're not. You're not winning.
So sorry, Pat Riley. I love you. Another person getting a damn statue. Like, why don't they just give everybody a statue? Why don't they just give everybody a statue? Why don't they just give every player that ever played, every coach that ever coached, everybody just give them a statue?
Tone, we're not doing that. And
why not?
Because what you're doing is you're devaluing it. And
no, they're devaluing it by giving everybody
they're not, Tone, because the guys that they have in that park in Los Angeles, all of those guys are worthy of that. Shaq is worthy of a statue. Your man Bryant is worthy of a statue. Jabbar is worthy of a statue. Magic is worthy of a statue. Jerry West, the logo, is worthy of a statue. Elgin Baylor is worthy of that. Come on, Tony. They just players.
Of course, because
these guys
we're
are
the Lakers.
Fantastic.
But that's my point. With the Lakers, we've got 40 people that are worthy of statues. You can't give them all 40 statues.
Right, you don't. But I'll tell you what, though, Jerry West should be there more than James Worthy. And you know how I feel about James Worthy.
100%, Jerry West.
I love James Worthy.
Do you know that I see these top 5 Lakers of all time, and none of them have Jerry West in it? I'm like, then you're stupid. Get out. Like, because they're not even saying players, they're saying Lakers. Right. Lakers. Like, do you know what he did as a player, as a coach, as an executive? Are you nuts? And then people want to take him off as the logo? Are you nuts? No one has done more from basketball than Jerry West. All right, number 2.
Mm-hmm.
According to Sam Mick, the Sixers knew Joel Embiid's health was as bad as it is right now and still blindly gave him an extension.
Well, they couldn't blindly give him an extension if they already knew what it was. So they knew what it was. So it wasn't like they didn't know, like, oh, shit, this guy's knee is this bad. They knew what it was. They knew exactly what it was. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to play the odds, Tone. Okay, what's the probability that we can keep him in the lineup long enough to just make the playoffs, and then once the playoffs start, then we can unleash him? What's the probability? What they're not anticipating is that we're going to be terrible, Tone, and we might not make the playoffs. That part they
should watch Fluent and Chill more, because I told you they were going to suck.
You did tell me that, Tone. I didn't think that they would. Tone, they got the worst record in the NBA, man. How many times we got?
I'm not surprised. They have
the worst record in the league.
They have the worst roster in the NBA.
Oh my goodness.
They should have the worst record. They have the worst roster in the NBA. They have, of the superstars, he's the worst superstar in the NBA. And this process is now 10 years in. It's over. It's over.
No, boy. Maybe the Joel Embiid era is what it is. How many more? We talked about Jokic, Tone. How many more years do you think Joel Embiid has? I don't even mean at this level. How many more years do you think Joel Embiid has
in the league? 2.
Because he told us he got 6 or 7 more years to win an NBA championship. I'm like, there's no way your body's holding up that long.
He's already not playing in the opening game of the season. He's not playing in back-to-backs. He's treating himself like he's 38.
Yeah.
And how old is he? 32?
30. He just turned
30.
He just turned 30. I give him 3 more years, Tone. That's as far as I'm going with him. 3 more years. And to Natalia, just so you know, LeBron James was investigated by the FBI. I don't know if you know this, but the feds, they have over a 97% conviction rate. And who would they want to more take down for drug use than somebody like LeBron James? Then this was over 10 years ago. And you know what they found? Nothing. 0. So everything that you're talking about right now is rumors and innuendo. I'm not trying to hear that bullshit about his doctors who sold it to him. I'm not trying to hear that bullshit about articles. None of that matters to me. I am going off what I saw and what I read from the FBI, who absolutely went after him, and they found nothing. The only thing that they found was a third party that was connected to his wife. That's it. They didn't find anything else to suggest that he was on performance-enhancing drugs. Period.
Now
let's set it.
Now there is a great article on sportsfluent.com, written by Trent Cohen, that goes through all the stuff that has gone on with LeBron and the PED pandemic. It talks about, George Karl and him saying, and Derrick Rose saying there's a drug problem in the NBA, the stuff about LeBron, and gives a good insight into, here's what, people said, here's the rumors, and here's the fact that we tried to find people who would actually go on record and say this happened, and couldn't find one that would go say it on record.
I mean, 2 Tone, or 3? I mean, 5? Not one person, Tone?
There was five. There was 5 people who said that they would out him. 3 of them, once they had to sign the agreement, disappeared. 2 signed it. 1 didn't show up for the meeting. The other one said, "I'm not going on record last minute." So everybody had now. 1 was an MMA fighter who did come out and say we have the same drug guy, but again, unsubstantiated. So in that article on sportsfluent.com, it'll go through and say, look, here's the stuff that people said, the hair loss, the trip to Miami when he'd gone to Cleveland and wasn't playing great, and but there's nothing. There's as much proof that LeBron James is on PEDs as there is that Michael Jordan was suspended for gambling and got his dad killed.
Me and Tone.
So people will say both of those things. And I listen, remember, I said to you once upon a time, because there was the 5 people that were going to say it, and I prematurely said, if I got 5 people, I think this is real.
I can only imagine how excited you were, Tone. I can only imagine. Like, what?
Listen,
you got 5 people?
Let's be clear. It wasn't about outing LeBron. It could have been about any player. I just thought I have a breaking scoop, and then they all just went poof. And
gone.
And you know what? Okay, so that's why it stopped. And even in the article, it says this was supposed to be an investigative report with people that were going to testify, and they all disappeared. So here's what we know. But there's nobody
to corroborate the story.
There's no smoking gun. There's now. If it ever comes out, because here's the thing, that's the same thing that happened with Lance Armstrong. They couldn't get him. And then once he retired, then it all came out. That's going to change a lot if that does come out. But I just think, as much as it's so hard to believe that a guy at 40 can still run and jump and do what he's doing. Like it's unbelievable how good he still is. It just might be dude's a freak of nature that takes super good care of his body. That, listen, there are supplements you can take that are legal, or let's be honest, even push the line of legal, but are not like what. And so if he's found that cocktail that gives him that fountain of youth, that boosts his HGH, that helps his blood oxygen like EPO does, you know what? He spends $1 million a year on nutrition. Then good for him. Good for him. Now, if it ever breaks, it's awesome because it's just a breaking story, and stories are cool. But for now, we tried. It couldn't. There's nothing there. There's nothing
there.
Nothing
there's
solid.
nothing solid.
I don't say there's nothing there. There's just nothing solid. Nothing solid. I believe I have more proof that we didn't land on the moon, which we're going to get to with Flat Earth Dave at one point. Next up on the agenda, in the pantheon of the NBA, let me ask you, who is the greatest backcourt duo ever?
The greatest backcourt duo ever. Steph and Clay.
Incorrect. It is Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham.
One of the best backcourts ever. Wow. Even though I was on record, Tone, about a year ago at this time, this was before the 28-game losing streak, which you called, by the way, who you said they were going to lose to. Yes, you did.
I said who they'd win, who they'd beat. Yes.
Yeah, who you did call that. What I'm saying is before the season started, I thought this was going to be one of the best young duo backcourts in league history. Not league history, I'm sorry. In the league. I apologize. In the league. And it went the other way. and it went the other way fast. But now it seems like we're kind of getting back on that track because it looks like JB Bickerstaff is doing something different with this unit, and I like it.
Do you know why? Do you know why things are working in Detroit?
Because of JB Bickerstaff?
No, incorrect. Let me take you back to last year. The Utah Jazz started off the season slow. They were losing games. They're on a losing streak. Assistant coach Scott Morrison came on our show the night before they were to play the Memphis Grizzlies. Do you know what happened the next night against Memphis?
They beat them.
They got the dub. That's right.
I remember that.
This season, Tim Hardaway Sr. and you and I and Tony had a little chit chat, and he was telling us about his son being on that team. And we said, well, you know, much luck and great success to the Detroit Pistons. We'll come check you. Detroit Pistons. I think we're the good luck charm.
I think
I'm taking all the credit.
If the season ended today, Tony, I think they're a playoff team.
They are. You're absolutely right.
I think that they're a playoff team. I don't know where they are in the playoffs, but I think that they're a playoff team as opposed to last year.
Let me just go back quick. Hold on. Let me pause you on Detroit for 1 second to ask you this, though, because Twitch really wants to know. If he gets caught after he retires, will it tarnish his legacy?
Yes.
Talking about LeBron and drugs.
100%. 100% it will.
Yes. 100%.
Yes. We can't just overlook that. He was on the juice. That's not something that we could just go, well, that was 20 years ago. That's one of the main reasons why you lasted for as long as you did.
Would I be a hypocrite though? Because like when they talk about Barry Bonds, I'm like, I don't care how much juice he was on. You go out, you use as much steroids as you want to use and go hit a baseball. You can't do it. He was still great with or without. So can I just completely say, well, if he was on it, he's done?
Yes, Tone. And you know why? Because you saw him when he wasn't on it. And the fact that the fact that Major League Baseball knew he was doing it and they promoted him. They put him on billboards.
You know, there was a time when it wasn't illegal.
That's up then. That's the other part. That's the other part right there. So they knew he was doing it. And even though there is not documented proof, I'm not going to say documented proof because there is documented proof that he was doing it. It's just there is no admission that he was doing it. What I'm saying is Major League Baseball was the one they were cutting into games when he was chasing the home run lead. They had him on billboards. They had him leading Sports Center every night. They had him in Sammy Sosa. They had him in Mark McGwire. They had all of these guys propped up like that off the strength of the home run is king. And we don't really care how you're doing it. We don't. We couldn't care less how you're doing it. But there's a lot of people, a lot of the suits who know that you are doing it and they don't care. I don't know that James is doing this. I don't.
Yeah, no, you're right. There's no, like I said, there's no smoking gun, so there can't. What if I told you? So just to be clear, Ivey and Cunningham are not the greatest backcourt ever, and probably never will be in that conversation.
No, I don't think so.
You know, it's a sad day when I'm going to start calling it Elimination Day, and I'm going to create a list. And I'm going to just add each person's face every time they make it. Kawhi Leonard is officially missed 18 games and is no longer eligible, or he is ineligible for all awards this season. Should he just retire? Should he just retire?
I said to you a year ago, in 2 years he'd be out of the game because his body's not gonna hold up. I said that to you a year ago, Tone, and I think that we're on that. I think we're on that trajectory. I don't know how much. Like what we're doing is we're just prolonging the inevitable. Like what are we waiting on here, Tone? His knee is not going to get better. And I've had this conversation with you. And I've had this conversation with you before, Tone, in the past that Kawhi Leonard does not have an injury. He has a condition that's going to get worse over time.
I think people should look up what the word degenerative means. It means
I don't think that they understand.
It gets worse. It's
progressively worse, by the way. Right. Progressively worse. He's got cartilage in his knee. Just so you guys know, and I had knee surgery about 10 years ago, so I understand this. You have cartilage in your knee, and that cartilage in your knee is what is in between your bones. When that cartilage goes away, guess what happens? Now we get closer to the bone. And when we get closer to the bone, we got this going on. And you know what this creates? This creates friction. And this friction creates inflammation. So try running on that. No, that's not going to work. No, that is not going to work, which would explain why Leonard has not been playing, which would explain why he's not going to play, which would explain why when the Clippers saw him, not just the Clippers, when the Olympic Committee saw him at the Olympic trials, they called up the Clippers like, yo, come get your man. Come get your man.
Yeah, I think that's crazy.
Come get your man.
Like
nope,
he fully went there and like knew he wasn't going to play.
No, come get your man. Nope. This isn't going to work. So
career done?
I'd be surprised, Tone, in 2 years if he's still in the game. I would be very surprised if in 2 years he's still in the game.
Does he become the biggest what if in NBA history? Because when he was healthy and playing, you could argue he was the best player in the game. And we never got to see any like consistent prime or peak for him.
But we did though, Tone. We
did
see. Yeah, we did. Okay, so he showed up. He showed up in 11, right? I think he showed up in 2011. So in 2011, just like I asked you a while ago, we talk about Joker in terms of elite. When did Kawhi Leonard become elite, in your estimation?
Elite. 2015.
That's what I was thinking. That was the year he won the Defensive Player of the Year that year. That was the year after they won the NBA championship.
Yeah.
So 15, 16. So then again in 14, 15, and then in 15, 16, he finishes second to Curry in league MVP votes. And 16, 17, when they lose in the Western Conference Championship, he doesn't play in 18. 19, they win the NBA championship. And I think he played 55 games that year. 20.
Yeah.
So then he's in Los Angeles in the 1920 season, in the bubble, then the 2021 season, and he ends up getting hurt in the playoffs. Right? He ends up getting hurt in the playoffs. He tears up his knee in the semifinals. Then after that, he misses the 22 season. In the 23 season, he plays. They ramp him up slowly. Then he plays in the playoffs, right? Then he plays in the playoffs and he breaks down again. Then in 24, he breaks down again in the playoffs. So, but last year he had an all-pro caliber season. So, Tone, in the last since 2011, we're 13 years. So I'm counting 6 years, maybe 7, maybe 7.
But that's my point though. Is if we're calling 15, 16 his year,
yep,
he has 2 years, and then he's out. He only plays 9 games. Then he moves to Toronto.
18. Mm-hmm.
Then he moves to Toronto. He plays 60 games, right? And then, like you said, then he goes to LA, plays 57 and 52 games, but he gets hurt, and then he misses the whole entire year again. Then he has the 2 years with the Clippers. So my point is, when I say consistent, it's 2 years, year off. 3 years, year off. 2 years, done. So there's never been more than a 3-year stretch where he played 60, 57, and 52 games, and one of those years was a bubble, weird kind of crazy year. Right. So we don't have a 5-year stretch that he put it together in a row.
Okay, where it's consistent.
So that's what I'm saying when I say there's no consistent stretch of him. And so when I say what if, I say, well, the what if is, what if he, right? It's when we look back, it's like, man, if he never gets hurt and he's in San Antonio and, they build a team around him and is not going Toronto Clippers, we're talking about he bounces into that, Larry Bird, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard. That's the 3. That's the 3 best small forwards.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not going to be there because
I don't want to argue.
He's not going to be there because why? Injuries. That's the only thing that stopped him. So that's what I mean by when I say the what if. It's you're talking about a guy who would be in the conversation for top 3 at his position all time, and we're not having that. We're never going to have that conversation. We're never going to have that conversation because not only was he look in a different way, but not only was he becoming as offensively gifted as those other three, you could say he was the by far best defender of the three.
Yeah. I won't that point I won't argue.
So if he has
keep going.
10, so if he has 10 years of his peak or prime, like we talked about with Jokic, where he is almost as good, even though not as good, but almost as good as those guys offensively, and he's clear cut, like significantly better defensively, you're gonna have people saying making a case that he's the best small forward ever.
Sure. There's people who would have done that, but here's the difference, though, Tony.
What if?
Here's the difference. The difference is that we might not have seen a consistent 5 straight years, but we did see 2 years, we did see 3 years, then injury. Then we did see 2 years, then an injury. Then we did see another year, then an injury. We did see all of that stuff. With Derrick Rose, we saw those first 3 years, we saw that league MVP season, and then we didn't see anything like that ever again.
Sure. Yeah,
we didn't see anything like that. Nothing close to that.
And I think that's what makes Kawhi harder, is because we saw the greatness for a couple of years, and then it was gone, and then it was back. So you're like, even with the injury, he came back. Like when he came back to Toronto, that might be one of the greatest season/playoff runs of a player ever.
He was fantastic.
The way he carried that team, like that team was just perennial, like underachievers, right? Good regular season in the playoffs, good regular season in the playoffs.
Right.
And he just did something that was like, you know what, don't worry, just give me the ball. I got this. Like literally every time it was a crucial moment, just give me the ball. I got this.
Yep.
And, I watched that firsthand here, right? Eyes on it, live in person. And I'm telling you, there was something different. And I'm like, wow. He came back and did that. So that's why I say the what if is like, man, if it was not for this degenerative knees, and this is who we saw year in and year out, like we've seen with LeBron, like we're now seeing with Jokic, like we're seeing with these guys. Wow. So that's why when I say the what if, it's because wow. And I'm aware of time, so I'm gonna go to the next thing. And here we go. We're gonna make a prediction. We think the Warriors are for real. However, the next 9 games look like this. We agree that the Warriors look for real?
Yes.
Okay.
Off the strength of their depth, Tone. Yes.
Yeah. So Thunder at home, Phoenix on the road, Denver on the road, back home for the Rockets, and a back-to-back on the road with the Timberwolves. That sucks. Like not even one. Then away to the Grizzlies. And again, Minnesota. They played Minnesota 3 out of the 4 games. And then they got to travel to the Midwest and visit the Pacers.
No, the Pacers got to come out to the Bay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you are right. You're right. The Pacers. So that's good. So at least they're home.
So Phoenix gets KD back. Right? Phoenix gets KD back. Phoenix gets KD back, and they get back Bradley Beal. But I'm going to take the Warriors in that game. I think the Nuggets beat them. I think they beat the Rockets. I think they split with the Timberwolves. I think the Grizzlies beat them. I think they go to Minnesota and they lose. And I think they beat the Pacers.
So you got them 5-4?
Yes. Yep.
So
now,
they beat the Thunder.
Yep.
I'm going to do mine. They beat the Thunder.
I missed the Thunder. I actually missed the Thunder, Tone. I'm sorry. I had Phoenix first. I think they lose to Oklahoma City. I think Oklahoma City beats them. Yes, I think Oklahoma City beats them. I think they beat Phoenix. I think they lose to Denver. I think they beat Houston. I think they split with Minnesota. I think they lose to the Grizzlies. I think they lose to Minnesota, and then I think that they beat Indiana.
So you have them 4-5.
Yes.
Okay. So chill. I'm writing this down, and then I'm going to post. We're going to post this because we're going to. So I think they lose to the Thunder. I think they beat the Suns because I hate the Suns, and everything about them. F-U KD, F-U Tony Durant. So they beat the Suns. They beat the Nuggets. They beat the Rockets. They split with the Timberwolves. They beat the Grizzlies. They lose the Grizzlies. They beat the Pacers. So I got them 6-3.
6-3. All right. I just look at their depth, Tone. I look at their depth and I look at how good they are defensively. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think that they're a championship level team. I don't think they win in the NBA championship. I'd be very surprised if they did that. But
only because there's 3 minutes left, I'm going to cut you off and ask you this question because we got to shut it down to 10. If you have a super chat, throw it in now because we are shut it down. I was talking to Gordon Ramsay the other day. He said, "Shut it down." He was in Vegas buying underwear at Hugo Boss, but that never stopped anyone from saying hello. Shut it down. I'm traveling a lot. Anyways, if the Warriors, of course, led by Steph Curry and the new baby Clay, Buddy Hield, win an NBA championship, Steph Curry Finals MVP, how much does that change his legacy, knowing that he ran the 10s and 20s?
It changes it tremendously, 100%. I mean, it checks the box. It checks the championship box. 100% it does.
That's 5.
Yeah, it checks the championship box.
Two Finals MVPs.
Checks the championship box. I don't subscribe to now. What I don't subscribe to, Tone, is I don't subscribe to the logic that if he wins this, he's better than Magic. Well, you already think he's better than Magic anyway. I don't mean you specifically, but you already think he's better than Magic.
I don't.
Yeah, if you think that him tying Magic for championships means that now that puts him ahead of him, you already think he's better than him anyway. So tying him for championships isn't going to change that. That isn't. I mean, to win 4, I think to have 4, I think that's plenty. I think that Steph Curry cemented his legacy in 2022. That's what I think he did more than anything. I think he cemented his legacy in 2022 to where, like, we have legit conversations about him. I got him right outside the top 10. I got him at 12. Yeah, I got him at 12, right behind Kobe Bryant.
So that puts him in 10.
I don't think it puts him in 10.
If he wins this year. Oh, he doesn't make the top 10.
But I tell you what, man, if he the championships, I would have to reconsider my top 10. I would. I just don't think he's better than Olajuwon. I don't think he's better than Olajuwon. I don't think he's better than Shaq. I don't think he's better than Olajuwon. I don't think he's better than Shaq. I don't think he's better than Tim Duncan. I don't think he was better than Chamberlain. I don't think he was better than Russell because he got more championships than Russell got more championships than him. Chamberlain did way more than him in terms of changing the game. People talk about how much Steph Curry changed the game. I mean, how much did they change the rules for Chamberlain? Give me a break. So I can't do that. And I don't think that he was better than James, Jordan, or Jabbar. I don't think he was better than those guys.
Okay, so would you ever go back and relook at your top 10 and like list out this is the criteria and reevaluate everybody?
Yes, I would have to do that and update my list. Sure, Tone, 100%.
So because when you look at those guys, all the guys you said, there's only one, I think. Maybe there might be more, but that you can definitively say he was the greatest blank to ever do it.
Yep.
And you can definitively say Steph Curry is the greatest
shooter.
You could say the most important thing about he is the greatest shooter ever. And I don't think I don't think anyone pushes back on you. No. So if the greatest shooter ever in basketball history also has the accolades to go with it, and
what accolades? What accolades are those, Tone? He got 5 championships because that's the thing.
5 championships, 2 Finals MVPs. He's got the MVPs. So that's what I'm saying. He's got the All Pros. He's got all that stuff.
Yeah.
We can't and influence on the game.
Mm-hmm.
I get what you're saying. They changed the rules for him, but I'll say this from a guy who coaches youth basketball. I don't see anybody out there trying to do anything other than Steph Curry shoot the 3.
Sure.
Now, I don't necessarily like that. I'm not saying it's a positive influence,
right?
But he did make basketball realistic for some people who thought, "Listen, I can't be 6'6" and dunk from the free throw line. I'm never going to be 6'8".
That though.
I'm never going to be 6'8", 250 and jump through the gym, but I can shoot from the logo.
I can do that.
Like I just think that's more attainable. Not really. Like people think they can do it. That's why I say it's a bad thing, but they can't. Yep. Like I tell my players all the time, I'm like, stop. You walk into the gym, the first thing you do is shooting a deep 3. Like, stop it. Go make a layup first.
You're not.
But they all think they can, and so I'm just putting that out there.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Tone. My divide when it comes to Steph Curry, you just mentioned it. Okay, I'm the greatest. Tone, you know how I feel about what you did, when you did it, how you did it, and where you did it. I care about that sort of stuff. With that being said, can I ever say that there was a time when Steph Curry was definitively the best player in the game?
No.
I can't.
That's the tough thing with him, because
that's the problem right
but
there.
The same argument, like with LeBron, you can say he was the best player, but you have him as the greatest ever. But you'll never say he's the greatest, other than the greatest player ever. Is there anything that he's the greatest at than anybody else?
Is he the best passer in NBA history? No.
No.
I
Is he
can't
the best
say that.
scorer? Is he the best defender? Is he the
even though he's at the top of the scoring list, is he the best scorer in NBA history? No, I'm not going to say that.
He does everything exceptionally well. And that's why I've always tell people you don't have to be number one at everything or anything. If you're number one at 5 things and number 200 at another 5 things, and I'm number 3 at everything, I'm better than you.
I don't know if I can argue that. To be honest with you, Tony, I don't know if I can argue that. My divide with him is when I think about these guys that I have in the top 10. Again, every last one of them at one point were definitively the best player in the game. Every last one of them.
But you also don't have anyone in your top 10 under 6'5".
And I am that is also true, Tone. I'm a big man. The big man, you know how I feel about the big man, Tone.
Big man merchant.
You know how I feel about the guy,
Are you doing playback? Where are you headed?
I got some stuff I got to take care of.
Oh, it's not it's the other thing.
Yeah.
In that case, take us home.
Yes, sir. The other thing. It was good to see you guys tonight. You guys know where to find us. We will see you soon. But until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When's the last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. I'll talk to you guys soon, man. But until then, take it light. Take it. Absolutely, man. It was good to see you guys tonight. This is fantastic. Always a pleasure to see you guys. No doubt.
Confetti, baby.
Later.
Oh, Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.